I wanna do now is making it last. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together.
How can one distinguish between mental health and mental illness and its subsequent impact on relationships? That's what we'll be talking about this time around. I'm Noreen Daly, and this is the Making It Last podcast. And with me is Dr. Janice Stewart, a licensed psychologist, mother, wife, has a passion for young people and trained in the areas of counseling and educational psychology. Dr. Stewart, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Your response to the question. I know it's a bit long, but your response.
So you have asked me to distinguish between mental health and mental illness and its subsequent impact on relationships. So let's start with the distinction first.
Okay.
Mental health has to do with our mental well-being, or thoughts, or emotions, or ability to solve problems and overcome difficulties. It has to do with how we feel about ourselves, okay, or happiness, fulfillment, enjoyment of life. It has to do with our ability to adapt to the changes and challenges in our environment, and might I say the psychosocial and the spiritual realm of our experiences.
Okay.
Whatever challenge we experience mental health is relating to those in appropriate ways.
Before you continue, though, you said just in appropriate ways. Who determines what's appropriate? This is societal.
Well, when I explain to you what is mental illness, then it might come out.
All right.
Because mental illness now refers to things that affect what you how you think, how you feel, how you behave, and how you interact with others.
Okay.
And the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, DSM-5, it defined mental illness specifically as a syndrome characterized by clinically significant disturbance in an individual's cognition, emotion, or ability to regulate emotions, behaviors, the individual's ability to relate to individuals in his or her environment, and it reflects dysfunction in your psychological, your biological, and your developmental processes.
Okay. So there is an overlapping.
Yes.
Somewhat. There is an overlapping.
Well, mental health is on a continuum. On one end, you have mental health. On the other end, mental illness. And somewhere in between, at different points in our life, we might find ourselves a little bit away from mental health. And that is dealing with everyday life challenges, and we are able to maybe talk with a professional, mental health professional, and get through, or talk with a friend and get through. But it's on a continuum. The far end of it with the mental illnesses now, you have various mental health illnesses. You have psychotic disorders, personality disorders, neurodevelopmental disorders. That's just to name a few. Okay? Eating disorders, communication disorders.
Okay. Okay. I noticed you said, one of the first you said was psychotic, and what was the other one?
Personality disorders.
I'm thinking, though, that a lot of us probably, in some way. Of all those, I think the ones that we probably would be more concerned about, for want of a better way, would be psychotic and the personality. Can you just touch a little bit on that? I mean, I know it's a vast area, just a brief intro. Tell us a little bit about either one of those.
Well, with psychotic disorders, there are imbalances in the neurochemicals in your brain. Okay. And so you find that you need psychotropic medication to help you regulate those natural drugs that the body loves in your brain. Okay. Personality disorders. There are quite a number of personality disorders, and I just want to say that we are born with our temperaments. Okay. So our temperaments is a gift from God. Okay. But we were born in sin and shapen in iniquity. So there are weaknesses in our temperaments. And our personalities are influenced by our background, childhood experiences, or education, religious and spiritual connection, and cultural experiences. Right. And so depending on all of these coming together, individuals can develop different personality disorders. So for example, I do not necessarily want to go specifically in any of them, but it's just a way that individuals use to cope with the challenges that they're having at the moment. So let's say a narcissist, perhaps that person did not have, and this is just a theory, by the way, because they're not, when you speak of etiology of psychological disorder or a mental health disorder, it's not just one cause, but there's a theory that that individual did not have appropriate attachment with his or her caregiver, and or it could be that the relationship with the caregiver was such that it fostered a kind of selfishness in that child. So that child grows up and with different experiences in life may relate to others in certain way, because growing up, this is what the child knew. This is what the child experienced. So there are symptoms aligned to each of the mental health mental illnesses. And so to diagnose, there are specific criteria for each mental illness. You see, I'm going back.
There's an overlapping.
Right. But then we shared already what is mental health. So we're speaking to mental illness. All right.
So now that we've made a distinction, how then its subsequent impact on relationships?
All right. So I want to start off by saying that healthy relationships help to buffer individuals who have mental illnesses. So they actually need relationships. And so we have to be very sensitive to these individuals' needs. Yes, we can get burnout taking care of them, but they need individuals in their lives, just like how individuals who are physically unwell also need the care of those around them. I also want to share that challenges in a relationship could exacerbate mental illnesses. All right. So let's say this person who has a bipolar personality, too much stress, not getting along with people in the family, may cause the symptoms to flare up. You follow? So if there are relationship stressors, it can impact on the individual who has the mental illness. So also the partner, or you mentioned relationships, so I'm thinking of maybe a spousal relationship or even in the family. But the partner who is initially very caring and loving to the person with the mental illness might get tired. It might become overwhelming for that person, and so that person might snap, might not be engaging in regular activities to help relax, or fulfilling goals, because all the attention, all the time is going to this person with the mental illness. Okay, so it can be overwhelming for these individuals.
I'm listening, and I'm saying, if in all of this, I believe if as we interact with people, we'll be reminded that we all have our challenges. We all deal with them differently. We just really don't know what's happening with people. So when you said just now, when somebody might just get overwhelmed, they have to be dealing with somebody and they might snap. We have to be careful that we're kind and gentle with each other, because we really just don't know what the other is dealing with.
That's true. And I came upon a research that associated the burnout that a psychiatric nurse experienced with, they said that it was similar to the burnout experience in family members who actually care for family members with mental illness. So they might get tired, loss of energy, they themselves might get depressed, they might not be engaging in activities that they are used to engage in, they might set goals and find out that they are not accomplishing their goals. Other individuals in the family, like young children who need their care, might be neglected in the process. So it impacts the family both ways. It can be stressful for those experiencing the mental illness or symptoms of mental illness, as well as it can be, especially when there are challenges in the relationship. Okay. And there are plethora of relationship challenges that you can think of: death of a family member, communication problems, financial problems. These might cause individuals with mental illnesses to not have symptoms flaring up, not being able to cope with their situation as they normally would. And I might say that with the right treatment, whether psychotherapy alone or psychotherapy coupled with psychiatric treatment, because individuals, when it's like a psychotic disorder, as I said earlier, they might need psychotropic
Somebody's listening
drugs.
And they're saying, what then is the difference between those two types of treatments?
Psychotherapy. Okay. Psychotherapy involves using talk therapy.
Okay.
And several techniques, such as cognitive behavioral techniques. Solution-focused counseling techniques. Different techniques, different activities with the individuals to help the individuals practice outside of the session these things to cope with everyday life challenges. Psychiatric care, when you're getting psychotropic medicine now, that's more drugs to help regulate the imbalances in the neurochemicals in your brain. So sometimes you need both of them. All right. And sometimes you find that you can regulate yourself just by going to your weekly bi-monthly sessions with your psychotherapist.
We started out the conversation with how can one distinguish between mental health and mental illness and its subsequent impact on relationships. One of the things I think I want is to end with, though, because I think I have grown up in a society where enough attention has not been paid to mental health and subsequently mental illness, like, as you said, a continuum. In wrapping up, how then do you think we can then help to change that mindset where people think that if I say that I'm going to go get help, that it is that I am, for want of a better word, crazy?
So recently I attended a suicide awareness seminar, and there were some children from high schools across Jamaica attending the seminar. And I looked through the audience, and aside from having those students, the majority of attendees were professionals. Where were the parents? you know. So you start in the homes, you educate the parents who can then pass it on to their children in their special family time, their worship time, because you know the family is a very important microsystem. It's where you learn
Oh, yes.
a lot of the things. It's a foundation
Yes.
for your education.
Yes.
So yes, it's important to have the teachers there, but the parents are very instrumental in creating the awareness of the importance of mental health.
Yes.
Just as how they would drink water, it's good for your body, it keeps you alert. Your
Adequate rest.
That's
and all
right,
of that.
adequate rest and all of that. You know, just creating that awareness, helping them to recognize that all the faculties of your being should be balanced, should be appropriately attended to. And when I speak to the faculties of your being, I'm speaking to the spiritual, the emotional, the social, the mental, the physical. None should be neglected. And it starts in the home.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stewart. How can one distinguish between mental health and mental illness and its subsequent impact on relationships? At the end of the day, we just have to make sure that we broaden the awareness of these issues, and then it will then help to have a positive impact on our relationships. This was Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly. Until next time.
You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.